So, how was your morning this morning so far, Avelene?
Yeah, good, really good. I got up, I had a shower, and I actually put the shower on cold at the end just to like wake myself up. I find it like kind of gives you a bit of energy.
Oh, you're very brave.
It actually wasn't too bad.
And do you ever do like sea swimming or anything like that?
No, because I'm like an hour from the beach,
Yeah,
maybe an
yeah.
hour and a bit. If I was closer to the beach, like I would love to, but like the sea coldness is different to like a cold shower or an ice bath, I find.
Yeah.
Now I do ice bath and sauna in care sometimes in the heat retreat. And oh my God, like you'd be full of life after it. Honest to God, like it just invigorates you.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't do it as often as I'd like.
I actually only did an ice bath once with a friend of mine, and we were both kind of in the same tub together. And I was like such a chicken. I couldn't do it. Like I was literally in for like 10 seconds at a time. I'm like, oh, I can't do it. And I had to keep jumping out of it. I was literally having pains in places I didn't know I could have pains in. Like it was like really bad. Really
No
bizarre.
way.
It was so bizarre.
That's so funny. There comes a point where you're actually sitting in it, and if you don't move, like you kind of don't feel the cold anymore. But then if you move, you're like, oh, that's freezing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like you just kind of numb out to it after a little
Yeah,
while.
you actually do.
So, tell me a little bit about your background and how did you end up getting into life coaching? Because I know you have a degree in, is it social care?
Yeah.
So, how did you go from social care into life coaching, and is there similarities in the two?
Okay, so first of all, I finished school and I actually did a 1 year PLC in business and secretarial because I didn't really know what I wanted to do at that point. So I was like, right, I'll just take the year, like a business and secretarial would stand to anyway. So that was actually a really good course to have. And then I went on to do social care in Washford, and Jesus, like that course was so good just for like life in general. Like it really changed my perspective on things. And I met like loads of really unreal girls. Like we're still friends now, a really good girl group. And then I actually went to Australia. So I lived in Australia for 2 years, but to do social care over there, you have to get like your degree changed over. It's a bit of effort. So I
Yeah.
was like, look, I'm not too bothered. Like I'll use the business and secretarial course. And I worked in customer service. And that was really good. Like it was just Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And then when I came back, I actually just slotted right into my family's business. My granddad built like a truck company. God, how many years ago now? He's nearly 80. So I'm going to say like 50 years ago, he started with one truck.
Wow.
And yeah, so like that's kind of the family business, and there's like 60 trucks. So I work in that doing the accounts and the invoices and stuff. And then last year or maybe the year before, someone really close to me, we were just talking about like beliefs and self-development, and like I've always been into, I don't know, like learning about the brain, and psychology was my favorite module in social care. And we were talking about all of that, like attachment and relationships. And she was like, why aren't you like a life coach or something? And we kind of just laughed about it. But then I was like, why aren't I? Like, I'm reading books in my spare time anyway. Like, I love wellness and self development. And like, my personal Instagram feed would have been very much mindset and like body stuff as well. So I was like, why aren't I? So then I did the life coaching course, but I was like, look, do it for me anyway. Um, like even if you don't become a life coach, like that's okay. Like the amount of stuff I learned, oh my God. But I was like then halfway through, like if more people knew about this, like it would be unreal. So then I was like, feck it, I'm going to give it a go, like become a life coach. And I was so nervous. I was afraid of failing, afraid of like judgment, afraid of people not wanting to be my client. And there was a lot of self-doubt. So I just had to overcome that and like feel the fear, do it anyway. And now I'm nearly 2 years into it and I love it. It's unreal. And I did a certificate in counselling and psychotherapy like after that. I've done like a Reiki level 1. I did a somatic muscle release course a couple of weeks ago in Dublin. And yeah, it's all just been unreal. I love it.
Yeah, it's, I think sometimes people look at us sometimes because I have like a collection of diplomas and certificates and degrees as well.
Yeah.
I think people sometimes might think like, oh God, I don't know what they're at. Like they're collecting all these certificates, like, but that isn't necessarily the case because everything feeds into the other, you know? So,
Yeah.
like counselling, the social care, I mean, what was the difference between that and life coaching?
Social care is very different
Okay.
because you're mostly working with groups and communities. Like I worked with, say, teenage boys in a residential setting. So it's very much like a group dynamic, and you're seeing how they get on with each other, how they get on with like the staff. Like there's usually a staff team, whereas and like loads of other fields, like you have, say, disability services, like fostering, like stuff like that in social care. Whereas like life coaching is very much one to one, and it's very much adults. Like you could have a group setting, like say where I do events, or like some people hold like memberships for coaching, which is unreal. I've been in one myself. So it's very much and adult. You can have one to one or groups. And as well, like people are choosing to, I suppose, help themselves.
Yeah, I love the word help.
Whereas, like in social care, like them boys in residential, like they didn't want to be there. Do you know what I mean? So, like, that was out of their control, which
Right.
is, it's such a pity. But that was probably the best place for them to be at that time. Whereas life coaching, like people are like, okay, maybe I need to reach out and get support and stuff. It's very much on their own terms.
And when you're working one to one with something, how do you determine what part of your skill set you're going to use with them?
All of it comes into it, really, to
Mm.
be honest. Like every coaching session and every person is so different. Like I won't force anyone to do anything. Like I'll meet them exactly where they're at, and like we'll work together. Do you know, like I won't be like, oh, you go away now and do this. Like, do you know, it's very much side by side and like close support. But I use a bit of everything. Like, do you know, I suppose it's hard to know, like thinking back, oh, where did I learn this or where did I learn that? But I think it all feeds into it. And you do have to use a holistic approach because it's not just the brain and just the mind, like the body comes into it as well. And like that's why I did the somatic muscle release course. And I'm actually doing a course like based on polyvagal theory and the nervous system as well now, because they're all interlinked, they're all connected, like.
That's so funny that you mentioned that now because I literally was going to ask you next, what role does the body play in your mental well-being?
Yeah. So basically, when you're in the womb, like your nervous system is shaping, it's shaping to your mother's environments, your mother's stresses, your mother's calmness. So when I actually did that course in Dublin, like we did an exercise that mimicked when we were back in the womb. And I just felt like I was underwater. Like it felt quite peaceful, but
Mm.
like other people had different experiences. Like they might have felt their mother's stress or like heard arguments and stuff because they were taken right back to when they were in the womb. So, like, our nervous system is shaping from when we're in the womb, then we come out as a baby. Like, the feeding stage is very important, like how close we were to the mother, if we were breastfed or bottle fed or all of that.
Mm.
Then we're a toddler and we're like molding ourselves to how we think we're going to get love. Okay, so that could be not making mistakes, or it could be trying to be chaotic to get attention, or it could be sitting very quietly in the corner because we're the easygoing child and the good child. And then we go into maybe play school and school, and we're like learning, we're taking on like our little personality, do you know? And
Yeah.
like the nervous system is very much there, because if we think something is unsafe, like our nervous system and our body reacts to that. So we could tense up, we might get a pain in our stomach, like our shoulders might stiffen. So the body's reacting, and that's sending a signal up to the brain to be like, okay, whoa, like this mightn't be safe.
Yeah.
So it's from the womb, and like all up along we're learning and learning and learning, and we take that on. And then into adulthood we might have the same survival mechanisms or tendencies that kept us safe at one time, but might not be relevant now, but we're still taking that on. So like that could come in as perfectionism, hyper independence. Oh, there's so much in it. It's fascinating. I love it.
It just makes me think about like how important a role parents and the adults in children's lives play. And it's actually like as a new parent myself, it's kind of nerve-wracking because it's like you could mess up any time. You could literally, no matter how good a parent you are, I'm sure you're going to traumatize your child some way or another as into adulthood. It's like, oh, when you're saying there about like how they learn to get love, I was literally thinking in my mind, oh, I hope I haven't reacted in one way to him doing this and that, like, so that he thinks that that's the only way to get love. It's just like a huge responsibility.
It is. It is. But the only thing is, like, no parent is perfect. No mother-daughter relationship is perfect. Father-son relationship. Like, all of those relationships are, they do have an impact, and they are like molding us. But I truly believe that whatever has happened, or whatever survival mechanisms you pick up, like once you become aware of them, you're like, oh, like that's why I do that, or whatever. And
Yeah.
when you're an adult, you learn how to, I don't know, deal with that, or even let that go. Like it mightn't be relevant to you. And of course, some relationships are like harder, and times are harder than others. But I do believe that like you are the person you are because of all of that, whether that's so resilient or like sensitive, and like
Mm.
all of them have a place and a space, and like I don't know, like no, like none of it is perfect, and that's okay.
Yeah, because I think there's the word perfectionism, like, is so at the forefront of many of our minds in the sense that, like, we're supposed to have some hard times. I
Yeah,
think, do you know, like it's part of like human nature. It's part of the way we're made up. Like no human is perfect. No day goes 100% perfect. No, do you know, like there's imperfectionism and everything, but that's normal. I wonder, like, so far in your work and in all your studies, what have you found is one of the most common themes or struggles or areas that people are needing support with?
I think self trust and self belief, and that like confidence part, like being able to make a decision and be like, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to go for that, or I'm happy with that. Or it could be as small as, and I don't mean saying as small as it doesn't matter, but like making a tiny change in your weekly routine, or giving up something that you might have done for years. And it's like we worry so much about what other people think. And
Yeah.
we were only saying this in a breathwork session last night. Like, I don't know if you remember, I suppose we all grew up around the kitchen table or the sitting room, and like people would be around, and the chat would be talking about other people.
Yeah.
Do you know? So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm as a child, I'm picking up that people talk about people. So then when I grow up, it's in me that before I make a decision, I worry about, or I might worry about what other people will say. And like that stops people massively in leaving a job, leaving sport, or going to a new job, going to a new sport, making new friends, being themselves, putting themselves out there. It's like the self doubt is so prevalent because of like the beliefs we hold.
It's so funny. I feel like there's a lot of like crossovers in your job and my job, but we're working with different types of clients.
Tell me more.
I'm working with singers,
Yeah,
and like everything you're saying there is a lot of the same things that people struggle with in their own singing journey and their own performance journey. It's like I teach kids who are very young, teenagers, and I have adults as well of all different levels and backgrounds and all the rest. And this the one thing that does come up over and over in every age group is worrying about what other people think of them and being
yeah,
afraid to put themselves forward for something because they're worried that a certain group of people are going to judge them in whatever way, or they're afraid to like say like artists who are like releasing music and stuff, they're afraid to like record themselves and put themselves on camera because they're afraid it's not good enough, or it's not the same a good enough quality compared to their peers. It's just like this fear is holding them back and then they don't do it. But I always talk about this thing called the exposure ladder. Have you ever heard of that? The exposure ladder?
no, is it like exposure therapy?
Yeah, yeah. It's basically like you expose yourself to a little bit of it first, and then you step up to the next step and go to the next level and go a little bit more. So, like for example, in my work, it could be like, um, what the first step for some people could just be actually not getting nervous coming into the lesson with me. Because when I have a new student come to me, they're nervous in the first lesson. It's nerve wracking. It's very vulnerable. Opening up your voice to someone in front of you because you're in your with your voice, it's almost like your whole soul is bared through the sound that comes out. It's like if you're sick you can hear it in your voice, if you're tired, if you're emotional, if you're sad, everything comes out in the voice. And when you're fearful, your body tenses up. This relates to the body work you're doing as well. Your body tenses up. So a lot of the work I do as well is giving them tools to actually help release that tension in their body. So it could be anything from like waving their arms in the air to like doing a squat or like pulling on a TheraBand. There's loads of different tools that we can use in class where and then they hear their voice come out and it sounds the way they wanted it to sound and they're like, oh my god, because they hadn't realized that their body is like pulling it down, they're like pulling them back. It's like, no, we're not doing this because I'm fear and I'm here to hold you back, you know?
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's
Oh
just
my
so
god.
amazing. Like, it's so amazing when you have someone in front of you and like you give them a tool and they say beforehand, they're saying, I can't do that. And then you give them the tools and then they can. And they're like,
Yeah,
wow, I did not know I could do that.
it's amazing. And
It's
it's
so
so
amazing.
funny, like you say that about the exposure ladder, because like that's with everything. So like our nervous system needs to be shown, not told, that like a situation that once we thought was unsafe is actually okay. And like sometimes that takes tiny baby steps, but it's like you need the disconfirming experiences to make things safe again. And that's why like action is so important. It's so important to get out of our comfort zone and do the thing, maybe do a little baby step, whatever that may be. And then our nervous system is like, oh, okay, like it's actually fine, do you know? And like we might get the nerves again the next time or whatever, but like
Mm.
nerves and excitement are actually the same feeling in our body.
Yeah.
It's whatever meaning we attach to it. And like we're attaching meanings to everything in our life. So like when I was going into the schools doing effective tools to thrive, like, oh my God, my stomach was doing somersaults. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, but it's because my brain and body was like, this is an unfamiliar new experience. You're speaking in front of teenagers. But I had to be like, do you know what? It's fine. It's a really good opportunity. I'm so excited. This is actually what one of the things I wanted to do before even starting the life coaching course. Um, so I had to like flip that perspective to excitement, possibility, opportunity, and like ever since it's been fine.
And is there like, so if you think about when you were a child
Mm.
and some of the things that you struggled with or worried about or that upset you, is there similarities or differences between what you were dealing with and what the kids now are dealing with?
I guess it's kind of ingrained in us that we need to be part of the tribe, which we do. Community is so important. And it's because if we were out in the jungle and a lion was chasing us, like we're better in a tribe, in a group. So that's like in us anyway. So I would have cared, and the kids really care today, like what their friends think of them. And it's like, oh, I'm going to do the same thing as the friends. And like that's fine to a certain extent, but it can be to the detriment of then being authentic. And it's like if you're trying to be someone else and you're not being authentic, like that is just going to, I don't know, like in the simplest of terms, make you really sad because you feel like you can't show up as you.
Mm.
And I think social media now, oh my God, and technology like plays a massive part like today. Whereas like when I was growing up, like I think we had phones, but we it was text and it was Snake on a Nokia.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
like we were
Yeah.
outside every day after school. The only time we went in was to watch Home and Away. And I think 6:30, like that was like religious, go in for
Yeah.
Home and Away. And
Or
then
Mrs. Bouquet.
yeah,
Did you ever watch
yeah.
that?
And then you'd have dinner and you'd probably be back out again if it was bright. Do you know? So like they don't need to leave their rooms to talk to their friends, but it's a different connection. Like it's not playing wall ball or curbs or 52 bonkers. Like it's on the phones. And as well as that, like there's so much information and like comparison. Like
Mm.
I think everyone, even myself, like struggles with that comparison of being like, oh, like they're doing that. Like, should I be doing something or whatever? But it's like Instagram and social media is a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's the highlights. So you actually can't compare. There's no point comparing because it's like comparing a banana with an apple.
Yeah.
Do you know?
It's only part of it.
Yeah.
And with teenagers and children as well, because children have phones as well, which I think is actually mad. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. Um, excuse me. Their brains are still developing. They have all these hormones rushing through their bodies, and their brains are literally not fully formed yet. And they're having to deal with all these adult issues that they shouldn't have to deal with until they're actually an adult. Isn't it? They say the brain isn't fully deformed, fully formed until you're about 25, I think I heard.
Yeah, it's
Isn't that
definitely at
it?
least 25. Yeah.
Like, and then you're given a young person all this, it's like a window to so many adult topics that they're not ready to deal with yet.
Yeah.
How do you coach them through that? How do you help them with that?
I guess you just have to bring them back to like what they're doing and what's important to them. So like when we go into the schools, we're like, okay, what's your dreams? Like what is fun for you? What do you want to do? So it's very much like talking about goals and action, and it could be art, it could be like acting or music, and then there's a load in sport, or it could be like makeup and baking. Do you know, there's so many
Yeah.
different things, like, and it's brilliant. um so it's like finding out what they know for them, and also teaching them about that like failure piece, and like reframing the failure, the judgment,
Mm,
the rejection. So like I always say that failure is feedback, like we win or we learn.
I love that.
So we fail forward every time we make a mistake, we learn, and we might know what not to do, what doesn't work. So like s- or successful people will fail time and time again, but they just move on, they just keep going, they keep taking the action, moving forward. So it's like reframing that failure bit for the kids and being like,
Mm,
guys, you are going to fail, you actually are,
mm-hmm.
you're going to make mistakes, but who hasn't? Like
Yeah.
taking away that fear. And last week in Waterford, a guy was like, "Oh, like how do you deal with like judgment, like other people judging you when you're doing something?" And I was like, sometimes we're judging ourselves, because if we do something different, our brain only knows who we have always been. So if we do something different, our brain is like, what are you doing? Who do you
Mm-hmm.
think you are? Do you know? But being afraid of like people's judgment as well. But when people judge us, that's just a limit that they have. Like that's their story. So we can't live life being worried about what other people think or taking on their limits. So it's
Mm.
reframing all of that for the kids and being like, you have every capability, like everything is open to you guys, like you can go for it.
Yeah, and I suppose as a kid and teen, like your world is so small at that point. It's like your school friends and your neighbors, you know. It's
Yeah.
only when you kind of leave school and you go into different jobs, or you might go to a class, or you know, you might go to college or whatever it is, and you start meeting different types of people who have different views and different hobbies and different things, and you're like, oh, okay. And sometimes then you really find your tribe, because you're like, because when you're in school, you have who you're given, who you're in class with, like that's it. Do you know?
Yeah.
And we're kind of a little bit of a reflection of the people around us sometimes as well, and we even more so when we're so very young. But I'd say it's so challenging to like help teenagers get around that, because yeah, like I have some students who are just like, they're just, it's so hard to get them to like believe in themselves and to like put themselves forward for things, because they're just so afraid of judgment of others. Has there been a time that you're happy to share that you have failed? Could you tell us about it, and how you've recovered from it?
There's probably loads. Let me think of one. Um, like there would have been a time when I started off in life coaching where like I didn't have any clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, like when is someone going to, I don't know, give me a chance,
Yeah.
or like believe that I can help them? So like for that period of time, like there was loads of self-doubt and being like, am I just shit? Like, should I just give up? And then I guess you start working with one person, another person, and like the momentum kind of builds, and you're like, oh my God, like I'm actually helping people. Do you
Yeah.
know, like there's a point when they first come, and then there's a point when they leave, and it's like, wow, like it's just amazing to watch that journey. But
Mm-hmm.
also like they do it, like I'm only holding the space, like asking questions, maybe giving some knowledge, but like they do that themselves, and it's
Yeah.
amazing to watch. But like at that time when I had no clients, I would have been like, okay, this has been a flop. But I
Yeah.
just kept going. I was just like, "No, like, see where this can actually take you or where you end up, and, like, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going."
Yeah, I think if you have a purpose that you really believe in, you you can't do anything but keep going. You know, you have to keep
Yeah.
on trying. I'm a little bit like in that situation at the minute with my vocal massage therapy, because it's a new skill that I've acquired earlier this year. I only have like 2 clients so far, and it's a huge challenge because people don't really know what it is. So it's not just about getting clients, it's about educating people why they need it
Yeah.
or why they might need it as well. So yeah, it's like you kind of can lean on the edge of like, oh, do I give up or do I keep on going? Do I give up or keep going? I'm like, no, I did this. I really believe in it. I've been
Yeah.
fascinated with it for years since I first was introduced to the idea of it, of how the body, kind of like the work that you do with the massage, the body can release ability. Tension in if you
Yeah.
can release the tension in your body, it releases ability. It gives you power.
Wow. So why should people do it?
If, say for example, if somebody has a very busy gigging schedule, they're like they're singing loads over a weekend, or it could be somebody who like works in a school, maybe they're a school teacher talking over chatty kids, or maybe they're a call center worker, or any other job where they're talking a lot and they find themselves losing their voice, or they're just struggling with pitch, the tone of their voice, or there's maybe it's husky or raspy or whatever. It might be because you have some tension or imbalances in the muscles in the body. So by doing the massage therapy, it helps to kind of reset the muscles, which can then allow the voice to make sound as it should make it. Like I did when I launched the business, was only at the start of September. I did the holistic fair in Clonmel in the Talbot Hotel. I said I'd give it a go. I didn't know if it was my target audience or not, but I said, look, I'll give it a go and see how it goes. And one of the women who came over to me, she came over to me and she had a very gravelly voice, very very gravelly, and I was just thinking, I really hope I can. I was given mini massages that day, like little 20-minute massages, and I was like, I really hope that there's some difference when I'm finished working on her. Do you know, I was like, it was my first client ever that day. And after I worked on her, her voice actually had improved so much.
Oh my
And she
god.
was like, oh my God, she was just so like pleasantly surprised how the voice sounded, because she was very self-conscious about it.
Yeah.
You know, she was
Oh,
someone who had allergies and was clearing the throat a lot and coughing a lot, things like that. So when you clear the throat and you cough, the muscles are kind of banging together, kind of tensing very suddenly, and they can all become very tight and rigid. Or like I had another person who to come, and they had just been through some mental health struggles, we'll say, and it was almost in a way like she was actually trying to find her voice again in more of a deeper way than just the actual voice itself.
yeah.
Um, and she just, I think, by just coming to it, she was just giving herself that little bit of time to do something for her to help her find herself again. I just thought
That's
that
so
was,
nice.
I just thought that was, yeah, just so deep, like, um. But yeah, the body is so interesting the way it just can hold on to fear and trauma, and it can hold you back. But given the right tools, you can do anything.
This is it. This is it. And like, this is why I was like, no, keep going with the life coaching, because when people learn the tools and become aware of like the beliefs holding them back, like it just opens up your mind. And like that with the vocal massage, like when people like constantly have a sore throat or like throat problems or even jaw issues, like they say it's deeper. It's because they're not speaking their truth, or they want to say something
Mm.
that like they haven't been able to say. So it does actually go deeper. Yeah.
Um, and do you have many Reiki clients?
No, I don't practice Reiki. I
Okay.
did the level 1 because I was so, like, curious about it,
Mm.
and, like, when I do Reiki on myself, I can actually, like, feel the energy, so it is nice to have that, like, intuitive like, that stronger intuitive side, like, with clients, especially, like, in person,
Mhm.
but I don't, like, practice it.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe I
Uh,
will in the future, though, with the somatic muscle release.
yeah, but like it probably feels like you have the life coaching to focus on now. That's kind of your
Yeah.
thing, and then the work in the schools. Um, because I find sometimes if I divide myself between too many things, even though they all fall under the same umbrella, sometimes you need to give one thing a bit more attention for a while to like for yourself because you need to get confident at doing it as well, even if you have
Yeah,
the
for
knowledge.
sure.
Because the
Yeah.
more confident you are as a coach, the better you can help your and support your clients.
Yeah.
So that's also important. All the companies that you've been doing workshops for and things like that. Tell us a little bit about those workshops, and then we can chat about ours.
Okay, perfect. So I started off doing my own like event and my mindset workshop. I was doing online ones, but I wanted to do an in-person one.
I'm the same.
So I did that back in God, was it September, August? I can't even remember.
Yeah.
And I was like so nervous. I was like, oh my God, what if no one shows up? Like all the rest. And I did it, and I did it in Suka Community and Care, lovely space. And you were actually there,
Yeah.
and that's how we met.
Yeah, that's how we met. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Isn't it
that
so
is
funny? Like,
mental. So, like, if I didn't have the courage to hold that in-person event, like, I don't know, would we have met? Well,
yeah.
we might have in a different way because, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I held that. And now, with the effective tools to thrive, we're not just going to go in schools, we're going to go into businesses as well.
Yeah.
So that's starting in December. And I have another event in Clonmel in the yoga yard. And I want to do more in person events
Mhm.
for people because I feel like people want that connection
Mhm.
and like fun and just time out from their busy schedules. Everyone is so busy. Everyone is flat out. Even myself and the girls, like we have to schedule in weeks in advance a coffee date,
I know.
So I feel like that time out is so important. And that's something like earlier this year, I was working so much and thinking back on it now, like I was moving house as well. So I was having stomach issues. And that was my
Mm.
nervous system being
Yeah.
like, okay, calm down. Like, what are you actually doing? Because when we get the stomach issues or the shoulder pain, like our nervous system has to take energy from our other organs for the energy for fight or flight. So if you're in fight or flight with years and years and years, like your other organs aren't functioning 100% because the energy has been taken from them.
Mm.
So I had to be like, okay, let's take a step back. What do I actually want my days, my weeks to look like? When am I spending time with the people who matter most? Like, when am I fitting in this, that, and the other? So I really had to like find that balance. And like, that's fine because it was only for a short period of time. But if you're someone who is rushing and racing and think they need to do everything for everyone because you're afraid to disappoint people, like it doesn't have to be that way. Like you
Mhm.
can live life for you and let all of that go, like the disappointing people, because the people who love and support you will love and support you, and the
Yeah.
people who don't get it or are disappointed, they'll get over it.
Yeah. And you can't make everyone happy at all times. And
No.
one of my biggest personal struggles over the years was worrying what other people think, but having too high expectations of people,
Wow. Tell me more about that.
which sounds weird to say because it's not like I would never have thought that, but when I really dug into it, that's what it came down to. It's like if people didn't behave in a way or speak in a way, or, you know, if someone disappointed me in some way, like the core of that is that I had too high expectation of them. If you have no expectations of people, you're never going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And the reason why that is okay is because everybody is a human and everybody has their own shit. Everyone has their own stuff and their own life. So when I was younger, even in my 20s, I would have so much anxiety worrying why I wasn't invited somewhere, why this person didn't ring me, or why this person didn't include me in this group or whatever. That would all just give me so much anxiety. I'd be worrying about it all the time. But realistically, I was making it about me. It wasn't about me. It was about them. It was about they have their own agenda. They have their own life separate to me. Like, I'm not involved in everything that they do. But I was just having too high expectations of people, and it was causing me a lot of pain and causing them some frustration with me as well, to be honest, at certain times. So I'm so glad I've come around to that idea that my expectations are too high of people, and if I just lower or have no expectations of people, that's really hard to have no expectations of people. I do struggle with it a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you lower your expectations of people, you're less likely to be disappointed. And just understand that everybody is a person dealing with their own stuff, and they can't always show up for you the way you want them to.
Yeah. That is so true. And
Mm.
it's like when someone doesn't text you back or ring you, it's like, okay, what are you making that mean about you? And also, like when you're saying the high expectations of other people, like, did you also have high expectations of yourself?
I think I did. Like, I think it's just the way my brain works. It's like not that I characterize people, but like, it's like I thought a good friend has to do this and this and this. So I had like certain little things that I thought that someone had to be a good friend, for example, including myself. So then I used to think, if I'm this way, then they should be this way. And if they're not, then that's not fair, because I do this for them and why won't they do that for me? This used to be my mindset, but it's not
Yeah.
anymore, thank God, because it's taken so much weight off me. But I think people can learn from that. Now, it's not something that I can tell, that people can listen to the podcast and hear me saying this now and be like, oh yeah, grand revelation, I'm better now. It's something that you do have to work on.
Yeah.
Like, you hear it once, but you have to kind of keep on going over it, so that and seeing it in different parts of your life, so that you can really kind of move past it.
Yeah. And like it's a perspective change because
Mm.
it's like, yeah, people, you don't know what is going on for anyone. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know, like behind closed doors, like you actually don't know. And it's like always having that compassion for people, but it's also like knowing your boundaries and knowing,
Yes.
like, okay, if they haven't texted me back for the 10th time, maybe it's just maybe it's a one-sided thing and I need to let that go. You know, that kind of a way as
Yeah.
well. So it's like having compassion for people, but also knowing what you deserve and your
Yeah.
boundaries. But it's like that balance. And it's
Yeah.
not like in a bitter way or a blaming way. It's just like everyone does have their own shit. But I think you know the people in your life that like are genuine and like if they don't text back, like, oh, that's just them.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Avelene, you do post stories like all the time. So if anyone isn't following Avelene, she's I'll pop all her links and everything in the description. I actually love. I've really That's is kind of why I approached you about our workshop, which we're going to chat about in a minute, and everything.
Yeah.
Is I just love watching your stories, and like, it just gives you such a kind of a positive vibe on every day. Like, so thank you for doing that.
Thanks for saying that.
But I see you posting videos of you singing in the car. Now, tell me a bit about that and like your singing history. Did you sing when you were younger, or like do you sing now, or kind of where does that whole all go?
There's no real history. Like, I
Okay.
suppose I actually did speech and drama when I was younger, but it didn't really go anywhere. Like, now if I did speech and drama, I feel like I'd be saying yes to everything. But
Hmm.
I guess back then, like being younger, I probably didn't have that self-belief. But I have always loved singing. Like, I remember being in my room, just like having a song on repeat, singing, like love singing, love dancing, just love all of that.
Yeah. How does it make you feel?
Oh my God, like you're expressing yourself, but like, I don't know, you can't really be stressed when you're singing because it's like you're doing a
A
performance or
release.
something.
It's a
A
release.
release, yeah, release, expression, like you actually like feel it in your body. Like, it's just, yeah, unreal.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously have a big history with singing myself, hence why I've
Yeah,
ended up, in the job I'm in, like from a very young age. And singing for me has like given me something to be proud of. It's helped me connect with people, other people within music circles. Um, Loads of my connections and friendships are through music. Then I got into songwriting, which is another way of like really expressing my feelings and my emotions and kind of processing things. Um, and like even for people who wouldn't class themselves as singers, people can still enjoy singing. Like I have people who often tell me that they love singing, but they're they're shit. Their words, not mine. Not none of my students, but like just when I get chatting to people about music, um, group singing in a group, choirs, workshops,
yeah,
the
yeah,
community aspect, the feeling. Like, did you know that your when you're singing in a group, your heart rate can actually sync with everybody else in the group? Isn't that
I
so cool?
feel like I did hear that somewhere.
It's
Like, that's
so
class.
it's so fascinating, like that. That's why I think when people sing in a group, they feel so connected with those people, and it's like kind of like it becomes like your little tribe.
Yeah.
And so you're a life coach and you have an interest in singing, and I'm a vocal coach, and now we've decided to do a workshop,
Yeah. So like when
mindset and
you
melody.
Yeah, like when you messaged me, I was like, absolutely yes, no question. Because, like, it's important, like, yes, mindset, empowerment, all of that. But, like, the singing aspect, like, kind of, it's fun, but it, like, builds that connection with the group as well. So when you messaged me, I was like, let's book it in. Let's lock it in. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Like, such a great idea.
Yeah. I just could see when I was watching your stories, I could see like a huge benefit for people to combine the two. So to combine the idea of like mindset and like challenging your fear-based mindset,
Yeah.
and building talking about building your courage. And so in the workshop, we're going to sing in the workshop in a few different ways, and that's one way to help build your courage.
Yeah.
And having fun is so important in everything that you do. If you can find a way to make what you're doing fun, it makes it so much easier, and then it also helps release any fear-based mindset that you have. And if you walk away from whatever it is you're doing after having fun, you're going to have a positive memory of that, and you'll be more likely to do it again. So if you have somebody who you gave a great example of somebody who maybe wants to like leave a job they're not happy in, and they might be terrified to leave. How would you go about coaching them through that? Like, what advice would you give them, and how do you think this workshop could help them?
I would ask them, first of all, like, is there a pattern in their lives, in their life, where they found other things hard to leave? Like, did they leave something before and it had a negative consequence? Or, like, where is that fear actually coming from? And sometimes it could be as simple as like parents, like seeing parents stay in a job for 50, 60 years
Mm.
and like they just get on with it, even if they don't like it, you know? So it's like reframing all of that and being like, you can leave your job. The world won't end. Like, let's have a plan in place for when you leave the job. Like, what do you actually want to do? How are you going to get there? Like, the action steps. Okay, do you know anyone working in that field? Could you ask for advice or tips? Or it's just exploring the whole thing around it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think for this workshop, like, it's mindset and melody. So, like, the mindset part is going to be empowerment, letting go of the fears, like learning about a bit about the brain and the nervous system and how you can work with them, not against them. And then for the melody part, it's like using your voice, expressing yourself, and knowing that you can use your voice and express yourself. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
a bad thing. Like, you don't have to apologize for that. And it's also like the baby steps as well, like the
Yeah.
disconfirming experiences.
And like the baby step of even like using the voice as a way to challenge yourself.
Yeah,
Like you might feel a fear around singing in front of people, but if you can do that, think of how good you'll feel, how accomplished you'll feel afterwards. And then if you're like, if I can do that, maybe I can hand in my notice and, put a plan in place for moving on to something different. I just think it's going to be such a fantastic combination of things. And you don't have to be a singer to do the workshop, guys. You can literally
no,
be from any kind of industry. We're just using singing as one of the tools, as one of the ways that we can kind of find courage and let go of fear. And we're going to use Avelene's life coaching skills then to help us release that fear, build a more positive mindset, and dream your dream life into reality, really.
yeah,
So I can't wait for that workshop. The workshop's going to be on November the 30th in Suka Community in Care, and we both have the ticket link. Do you have the ticket link in your bio?
yeah, it's in
Yeah,
my bio on
yeah.
Instagram. Yeah,
We both have the ticket links in our bio, so you can like DM any of us if any questions, or you can book it straight through the booking links. I'll put both of our links into the description of the podcast so you can reach out to us. Avelene, is there any takeaways you'd like people to have that we can end the note on today?
I think something I would love to people to know and realize is that, like, your past doesn't have to dictate your future. Like, whatever you've been through, whatever has happened, like, you're stronger than you think, that you've overcome it. But like, you don't have to struggle. You don't have to do it alone. Like, a problem shared is a problem halved. And if you, I suppose, searched for support or took action or whatever, like, your whole mindset could be totally different in 6 months to a year.
Yeah,
Do you know? So it's like knowing that you don't have to struggle, and that you are stronger, more capable, more loved than you realize, and there's no one like you in this world.
I love that. Sorry, my dog has decided to to kick up downstairs. He just loves the attention. He just wanted to be featured. Avelene, thank you so much for that. It was so lovely to go a little bit deeper with you today and just find out a little bit more about your work and your own kind of pathway and how you ended up here. And thank you for sharing that lovely takeaway.
Thank you so much for having me. It was
You're
great.
so welcome. Thank you, Avelene. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I'll have all the information in the description, so please do reach out to us, and we'd love to see you on November 30th out in Suka.